Oh man, that new mic is too good. Wait. Hello.
Ooh, hello.
Ooh, hold on. I gotta figure out my audio. Hold on one second.
Yeah, do it. Figure out my camera here. So, how's it going?
Hey, sorry, hang on one second. I can't hear you.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I'm hearing him only really soft. Oh, you can still hear me.
I can hear you, yeah, for sure. Hello, everyone coming in. We have just started. We're just fixing some stuff. Very exciting day today with Karishma Manzur.
All right. Can you say something again, Arya?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're playing with new toys over here. That's the problem, as
It's
usual.
all good. Yeah, it's all
I'm gonna
good.
just unplug you and go back to old school. Hold on. I got my fancy new plug-in mics, but we're not quite ready for prime time. How are you, Arya?
I'm good. I'm energized. Hello, Frank.
Hey.
It's good to see you. I'm good. I'm energized. Things are moving. In my personal life, things are kind of moving. I'm gonna release something tonight that I'm very excited about, and just seeing some of the local candidates fight for the things. I think we were talking a little bit earlier about how we finally have so many candidates coming out of the woodwork that are like fighting for real change, sometimes against agents within the party. A lot of the time within agents within the party. And there is a drastic difference between a lot of these candidates and, someone like Karishma Manzur, for example, who, for me personally, so far as someone of all the people that are outward right now, public facing candidates, she has made Gaza a big issue, and I think she's intuitive there. She's smelling the headwinds. I think the polling shows that too.
Yeah.
And I'm just excited to talk to her about these things and other candidates like about these progressive issues, which has been nice, a nice change.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you happen to tune into the town hall that was just hosted between Maggie Goodlander and Chris Pappas?
I wasn't able to attend. I actually had something come up. I had a scheduling conflict too. That night we were supposed to talk to Krish. What's that?
Yeah, it was the I'm just talking about there was a town hall that
Oh,
just happened, the Dial-In town hall tonight.
oh,
I just
the
wanted to talk a
Maggie.
little shit before we got started.
Oh no, I just bits and pieces. Once I saw that I wasn't able to see them answer the questions, and it was just rate like it's just sound, which is so easy. You know what I'm saying? It's like so you don't
Yeah.
even have face. You're doing it digitally, and you won't even show your face while you're answering the questions. Like that's cool, you know?
I just wanted to like talk about that for a second because I don't know if anybody joined, but Frank and I, it was funny. We were like doing bedtime with my kiddo, and like for those who are parents, when you've got a toddler, bedtime is like an hour long production. So we were like doing the whole song and dance. He got a robocall from Pappas's campaign or whoever telling him to join in. So he dialed on. He was like number 16 in line to get like to ask a question, and so we were both trying to listen to see if there was anything interesting or new or productive that they were talking about. And they didn't say anything that I haven't heard both of them say 1,000 times before. People on the call are literally like, please do something different. Please tell me you're going to do something different. And one of the questions, I think it was Maggie Goodlander, responded to a question like that and was like, well, we're going to just keep continuing to do what we've been doing since January, which is X, Y, and Z and pushing back. And it's like, girl, that is not working. And I am it got me like really fired up for this conversation, fired up to talk to Krishna because I'm so tired of this like weak, wimpy leadership from our federal representatives. Like, it just made me so mad that, like, he and I are taking time out of our life, literally, like, trying to bathe our child, trying to potty train our kid. And it's like, it looked like a freaking comedy sketch of the two of us trying to, like, listen and follow along to this because we felt it was important, right? These are two of the people that have the most power to stand between what is happening with us and what is happening with the federal government. Where literally yesterday, the federal government is starting to now talk about taking over American cities in like a very clear way from the Department of War, right? People are asking these questions on the call and they're not giving anything. And it never fails to like fire me up. And I know this isn't the best place to always spend all of our time, so we'll move on. But I'm just like so absolutely disappointed to see these two people with D's next to their names just phoning it in right now. It's unbelievable, and it is so disappointing. But it's believable when you think about where all their money is coming from. They have no incentive to make this better, and I'm over it. So that's it. That's my soapbox for the night. I'm gonna just sit
No,
here.
no, it's a great. I mean, these are all great points. I mean, this is the time to show the drastic difference between to show like a real contrast between you and what's here. I feel like again, these are all monarchies, man. Like Jean Shaheen giving it up to Steph Shaheen, and okay, so you're going to be a congressperson instead of no, it's the same thing. They're just like they're just playing, merry-go-round with the seats. They think they're the seats are owed to them. That's how they behave with us. And again, I'm telling you, I was very interested in watching that town hall. I'm very interested in but I want to see your face.
Mm-hmm.
Like show me your face when you're answering. Like I want to see, like, are you laughing at us while you're
Right? Are you
answering the question?
driving your car? Are you in the drive-through at
Right.
Dunkin'? Like, what are you doing? Get a freaking
And that's
phone crew.
exactly
Get one person who knows how to plug a phone in. Somebody like us. It's not hard. Like
it's
it's
not
an embarrassment. Like put your
for
faces on
sure.
camera. Yeah. You know how
For
I feel.
sure. And that's why again, and that's why I will, I'll try to get Karishma Mansour talking as much because I feel like that's
Yeah.
a she's
Let's get
she's not
Karishma.
shy. She'll show her face, and that's why we like talking to candidates like that, because they're not afraid of the truth.
Absolutely. Karishma, I'm sending you an invite right now. I am really somebody in the comments posted about the town hall, the Gaza town hall that Chris Pappas did not show up for this past weekend, which is exactly what we are looking forward to chatting with Krishna about because she did show up.
Absolutely.
All right, Krishna, I sent an invite over. Let me know in the comments if you're having any trouble getting in. Yeah, I feel like I just like was at battle like with a toddler and like I don't know how people have multiple kids, man. That was hard enough trying to listen to one call while getting a kid ready for bed.
That's so funny. Yeah, I know. I spoke to Karishma before too, and told her to wait for the invite.
Yeah,
So
she's in the room,
hopefully,
so I think she's probably.
sweet.
I saw some other folks from NH Talk doing.
Oh, she's
Carlos.
calling me right now.
Oh, perfect. Um, Carlos, I saw your live earlier. That was fantastic. I'm so excited to be seeing more. Well, actually, to be honest, I saw it for like 30 seconds while I was flipping between the Chris Pappas call, and I was literally laying on the floor while my child was on the potty, and I was watching your live for about 30 seconds, and I loved it. And like, I just love seeing all these different voices. We have so much to learn. Like, I feel like in this little social media journey I'm on, I'm like the voice of the people who don't know stuff. Like Carlos, like
All
it's
right.
so great to hear from people like you.
She's waiting. Okay, I explained to her to wait for the. She's gonna see the invite and then hit it when she's looking for it. So go ahead and invite her
Okay,
again.
no problem. It's like there's kind of a little bit of a learning curve. And I feel like every time too, sometimes you join live, it's like the layout's a little bit different. Like when I joined in Carlos's call today or in Carlos's live, I couldn't like it. And I didn't know why. It was like bringing me up to the gift screen every time I tried to like it, but it made me feel very green. It made me feel very immature. I was like, I'm just trying to like this live.
So she's in the room right now.
Yeah, it says she's in here as a guest. Somebody from Karishma's account is in here as a guest. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Oh, there she is. Perfect.
Hey, Karishma.
Hi. So I see you on my iPhone, but I didn't. Why don't you use the desktop? But I never saw the sign come up in the desktop. But I guess that's different.
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
We should have warned you. We should have warned you that TikTok does not like you being a guest on your desktop. I don't know why. You can host on your desktop. You can host a live, like Marissa can host a live, but I can only join on my phone. I can't join on my laptop or my desktop. So it's very odd.
And now we have to figure out the camera. I remember, Marissa, you had to do something.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. There we go, camera.
Oh, yeah, turn on.
I was just saying, it's like the settings are different every time. So we're always in a little learning curve. Hello.
Hi.
Wait a minute. I know you're switching devices. It's like.
I'm going to see if I can find something to hold this camera. I'll just put it here.
Arya and I can just keep yapping for
no worries. Tell me the sound quality. How do I look?
You sound and look great.
You look beautiful. You look great.
Is there any echo?
No, I think we're good. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
I hear a little bit of myself actually maybe coming through, but if it's, let us know if it's annoying. I'm hypersensitive to that stuff, so just post in the comments if it's too much. Cool.
Perfect.
All right, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. How are things, Karishma? How's everything with you? Tell us a little bit. I mean, it's been a while. We spoke to you not too long ago. I know we were very excited about your candidacy, and I know that you have been very busy since that day, and definitely give us an update. What's going on with the campaign? How are you doing? And, just give us an update.
So we launched August 20th, so about 5 weeks ago. It's been fantastic. It's my first campaign, so a lot of learning curve, trying to understand how to be a candidate instead of being like everything. So lots of support. Over 300 people signed up on our website to help us.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean some people have signed up from outside of the state, but most of them were from inside. And so these folks, we are reaching out to them. We're having weekly supporter meeting just to kind of keep folks up to date. We are also asking folks to come and help us for visibility, like a marching. So we marched in the Hollis Parade, and then we also marched in Milford Parade. And so folks were standing there, holding the signs and banners. And we made a huge banner. It has my picture on it. And it says, powered by people, not billionaires. So we're like in your face. We are not taking bad money. And so we are like in your face kind of stuff. And then we have made awesome, I don't like it when, I find it a little boring if a yard sign or a sign just has the name of the candidate, like, okay, but what do you stand for? Do you have anything more than your name? So we are making signs where one side has, the campaign logo, which has my name, but the other side has something that's important to the campaign. So one it says build homes, not bombs. Kind of covers very major events there. Like we have a severe housing crisis across the country, but also New Hampshire. I mean, I think I mentioned it before. People are sleeping in their cars. And those are the lucky ones sometimes. It's terrible to say because sometimes people are sleeping in their tents. These are serious problems. We are 24,000 units short in New Hampshire. And if we don't take care of this problem, it's going to get worse. And we're expecting 90,000 units short by 2040. And some towns are really stepping up. Some cities are really stepping up, like Portsmouth and Dover. But we have to have more units coming out across the state.
We have actually, I'm going to hand it over to Arya in a second, but there's somebody who's part of like our NH Talk community named Tanya Thompson, I think, who was posting about her experience over the summer as a New Hampshire resident who was living at a campground. And
Oh,
she was posting daily updates of like, full time, she was a full time working person who is just exposing the reality of the housing crisis we're in. And like, for me, as just a normal person who's not involved in the day to day of like these issues from a legislative perspective, it was just like really profound to kind of see her story, and I appreciated her sharing that. So I'd recommend anyone go check out her TikTok as well.
yeah.
But yeah, you want to go ahead, Aria? I know we want to talk about. We're very anxious to talk about some of the stuff
Gaza.
that you're talking. Yeah, and like obviously it ties in with your sign, and it's such a big part of the work that you're doing. Yeah, go ahead, Aria.
Absolutely. And my big thing, Karishma, is I think you have taken kind of the leadership role here in all the candidates that I've seen. I know this is an issue for a lot of progressive candidates, but I have seen your signs. I have seen you openly your talk about it, attend the Gaza town hall, which I wanted to start with that Gaza town hall. I know that our other friends failed to show up, or it was a kind of a lonely event, but I heard it went pretty well. And I just tell us about it. How was the experience? And definitely talk to us a little bit more about why Gaza is important to you as a candidate.
So to begin with, I really want to say thank you to the organizers. So Chris Balch, I'd never met him, and his partner and several other community members. They had actually wanted to meet with Senator Hassan several weeks ago. So that's really where it started. And they had an interview with a staffer, or not interview, a meeting scheduled several weeks ago on a Monday. And then late Friday, they got a call. Oh, sorry, we have to reschedule. We're going to cancel it, and we'll talk to you guys another day. And they were really upset because this is a meeting to try to get a meeting with our senators or our representatives is very difficult, at least for the peace folks. So I'm coming from the peace world. I'm part of the coalition, New Hampshire Coalition for Just Peace in the Middle East. We formed right after the October 2023 attack. We knew things were not going to go well. Anyone who knows Netanyahu for 30 years, I followed this man's career for 30 years. He's not new to me, and his destructive forces. He is a war criminal, let's face it. He is also very corrupt. He accepts bribes. I mean, you have to realize in 2023, he was being investigated in Israel. So the only way for him to try not to go to jail was to remain in power. And then, so this is something we have to actually consider. He's a little bit like Donald Trump, like,
Okay, it sounds familiar. That's a familiar.
Yeah.
It's wild how these patterns keep repeating.
Mm-hmm. So then, right after the attack, we knew this was going to be, what Hamas did on October 7th was horrific. That was a war crime. 1,200 people died. Absolutely. But then we knew what Netanyahu was up to because the United States started to send weapons, approve everything that Netanyahu was asking for in his ultra-right-wing government. And this is, if you remember, from the State Department, Josh Paul resigned like within 3 to 4 weeks because he knew what was happening. Biden administration was not going through the checks and balances. They were just approving all the weapons. 2,000-pound weapons, really massive firepower was being approved. So anyway, so we formed a coalition right here in New Hampshire. We call ourselves New Hampshire Coalition for Just Peace in the Middle East. It had a dozen organizations right away. We have since grown. It includes New Hampshire Peace Action, 350 New Hampshire, Palestine Education Network, American Friends Service Committee. So a lot of organizations. So I'm not new to this situation. And we have been trying to, from the very beginning, trying to advocate for peace. Don't commit war crimes. Don't make us complicit in war crimes. Don't use billions of our taxpayer dollars to commit murder. We hit a wall. They were not willing to meet with us. Our senators and representatives were not willing to meet with us. We were writing to them. We were going to their offices. We were vigiling outside, rain and shine. We were handing over information. Maybe we thought, maybe they don't know what's going on. So here, in our innocence, maybe we should just inform them. And in May 2024, and I don't know if I told you guys the story, because it's about Gaza, I'll tell you. 5 of our members had gone to Chris Papas's Dover office 12 times. Every week or every other week, they were showing up in his office. And the only request that they had was they wanted a meeting with their representative. It's a public service.
Valid, fair request. Like, to be super clear with people, this is a normal thing that we're asking. This is not anything extreme.
No.
It's like a request with your elected representative.
Yes, absolutely. It is, I mean, we sometimes put senators and representatives on pedestals. We shouldn't. They're just, we are giving them a job to do. If they don't want to do it, move on. And if we don't like what they're doing, we don't reelect them. Don't put anyone on a pedestal. Don't put anyone on a pedestal. Treat everyone as your equal. And if folks are not living up to your expectations, then it's absolutely your right to say, I'm not supporting you anymore. On the 12th time, the 5 folks showed up, and every time they were going there, they were requesting a meeting or a phone call. Marissa, they also said a phone call will be enough.
The bar is the floor. This is a very reasonable request. It is. Why is it harder to get in touch with these people than the president? Like, why is it so hard to get in touch with these people? It's crazy.
And so then on the 12th time, the 5 of them went, and this is something peace activists do. It's called a peace sit-in. When you know you have just hit a rock wall and you want to make a very strong point, you say, I'm not going to leave. And then you know that potentially, you hope that the normal reaction will be like, fine, you know what, 12th time, you guys are really not giving up. We'll give you guys a meeting or a phone call. Instead, they called in the police. I'll tell you how scary these folks were that could not get a meeting with their representative. 2 of them were 80-year-old women. One was in a wheelchair. One was a priest from Durham. One was a goat farmer from Barrington. And she's like, I'm 5 feet short. She's shorter than me. She's like tiny little person. And the 5th person was pregnant. These were the scary folks that went 12 times only asking for a meeting or a phone call, and they got arrested. And the arrest became really complicated. The Dover police came in and they were very polite. All 5 of them, I was not there, all 5 of them said how kind and how embarrassed they were, I guess. They needed to take them to the police station to book them, but the person in the wheelchair, she cannot get the only way she can ride is her wheelchair accessible van. So she cannot get into the police car. So there was like a lot of conversation. How do we do this? And then she said, I will so she said, no, I'll drive with you to the police station. And the police officer said, no, you cannot drive yourself to the police station. We will drive you. And she said, no one's touching my van. That's like a, special van made for my wheelchair. And so then finally they had to book them on the premises. They couldn't take them.
Wow.
And the crowd gathered.
And what year, when was this happening?
May 2024. This is like 2,000 pound, like Hiroshima level bombing is going on. Like 2,000 pound bombs are being dropped on a daily basis. And we will talk about the firepower of a 2,000 pound bomb in a second. But, and then, so they got, I don't know the legal term. I think that's called, no, that's not the arraignment. That's the booking. Then later they had to go a week later to the court to be arraigned. Then they got, But that Saturday, the person who was pregnant, so her name is M. Friedrichs, and she is a Durham town councilor. So these folks were not they can be regular folks, but they were all community leaders. They were all representing a large group of New Hampshire Granite Staters who were very upset with what was going on. And they had approached each of them, like the priest, or I don't know if I think he's called a pastor. Sorry, I'll get my titles wrong. His community was upset and in pain. So he was representing his constituents or his congregation. And the Durham town councilor was representing her constituents. So they were going with all these people behind them and representing them and trying to meet one level higher, their federal representative. So then they get booked after a lot of complication, they had to get it done right on the side of the street, crowd gathered, trying to figure out what's going on. The next day, M. Friedrichs paid $20 to go to a fundraiser and saw Chris Pappas.
That's like, oh man, and it's crazy. That's 2024 too. Like you're saying, like I think people who are really locked into this like Republican versus Democrat mindset and are like, well, everything will be better when Trump is gone. This stuff started, but this has been a problem since before. This is not a Trump problem. This is there's blood on a lot of people's hands.
With a lot of foreign policy, actually, okay, Trump is like taking it to an extreme. Like he's just blowing things apart, right? Like grenades and explosives are being thrown into every kind of idea. But most of the foreign policy, especially around the Middle East, there hasn't been much daylight between the Republicans and the Democrats. No. And this has frustrated a lot of Americans who are not diehard Democrats or diehard Republicans. Like, we don't see a difference. Like, what's going on? It just goes from one Democratic president to Republican president to Democratic president. But as far as the settlements being built in the West Bank, it's going on. But attacks on Syria, Lebanon, it's going on. So it's quite frustrating from a foreign policy perspective. Anyways, so that was then. Okay, I'm sorry. I've taken up a lot of time, but what I wanted to say was...
I keep sidetracking you. I'm yapping too. It's crazy.
No, but I wanted to basically say, Arya, that I actually have been on this issue for 2 years. So because along being a scientist and the other issues, I'm also a peace advocate. And then in May of 2024, I also tried to bring the ceasefire resolution passed in my town of Exeter. We went in front of the select board 3 times because they meet only every other week. And so we went 3-4 times and then it ended up not passing. 2 of them said yes, 3 of them said no, so it didn't pass. But in the process, we actually met with a lot of people in Exeter who are in pain. People are in pain. It is normal for you to see another human being, regardless of, it can be, we don't want to see anyone in pain, whether it's an Israeli or a Palestinian or a Jewish person or a Muslim, it doesn't matter. When you see another human being, bodies being ripped apart, starved to death, bombed to death, and you feel ill and grossed out and you want to throw up and your hair starts to fall out, those are all normal reactions. Evolutionarily, we have always been able to help each other because that's how our society was able to be successful. We wanted to help that other person in our village that didn't have enough food. The other person was hurting or didn't have a parent. We adopted that. Like that kind of that is exactly what humans are supposed to do. We are supposed to care for each other. Normal humans are supposed to care for each other. Good humans are supposed to care for each other.
So yeah, absolutely. And I love.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, please, no, continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. Please. Continue.
No. I should. Okay, so that goes back to basically that's 2024, and then okay. So why did I start to talk about this? Because many of these organizers, some of these folks, I'm like maybe 2 years into this. There are folks who have been doing it for 40 years. One of the folks who was arrested, Janet Simon, she's, like I said, she's 80 years old. I asked her how long she's been trying to advocate for Palestinians. Like for the last 4 decades, like 40 years, she's been going back and forth between Palestine and the US trying to advocate for the Palestinians. So for us, we're newbies compared to someone like that. But the frustration that the Gaza Town Hall organizers faced was exactly what we were facing, that they don't want to meet with us. They do not want to talk to us. So Chris Balch got very upset, and I think his others, and said, you know what? You're not meeting with us, then we will organize it and invite you. So that's where I think the idea behind Gaza Town Hall came in. In New England, town halls are part of our culture. This is the beauty of New England. We gather in our little church or town hall or city hall or park, and we get to see each other face to face, and we ask questions, they answer. This is the whole idea behind public service. It's so organic and it's so personal. So anyway, so then they had this town hall. They invited myself, Senator Hassan, and Representative Pappas, and the other two did not show up. So two folks represented, like Tricia Sanger was one of the hosts, and she represented Senator Hassan, and they were just looking at press releases. They did so much work. They had 18 questions covering about 6 different topics. They looked up every single press release that about these topics and then had actual quotes. Kudos to Chris Balch, kudos to Tricia Sanger and Chris's partner, whose name, Paula. And then Karina Quintans was one of the moderators, and so was Faisal Khan. They took it so seriously. They understood the gravity of the situation. It's like, let's face it, what would you guys have been doing in 1930s Germany? Like, that's what we have to ask ourselves. There's a genocide going on. Half the events I go to, people, it's not even a topic of discussion. And I understand there can be many other topics. Absolutely. We should talk about healthcare and housing. And these are real problems, and minimum wage and so many, our Donald Trump destroying our country. There's so many things. But at the same time, there's a genocide going on right now. Why are we not talking about it? And anyway, so then I thought they did a really good job. They talked about U.S. complicity. They talked about international humanitarian law. I took some notes. I'm going to try to look at it. They did ask about AIPAC funding. So they would go to each of us. And I was not, the way it was, each of the panelists was not supposed to interact with the other. Like, you were supposed to just answer for yourself. So I just answered for myself. So yeah, I'm not taking AIPAC money. Oh, by the way, I got endorsed by Citizens Against AIPAC Corruption. Yay!
That's awesome. Congratulations. That's great. That's great news.
It's such a low bar. So, I mean, like, I know. Seriously.
Well, this is, you touched on some really interesting things, and I think I can revolve them all around one really specific question that I want to ask you. And again, you mentioned people who are lifetime activists in like Gaza and Palestine and Israel. And for me, that's my background. A lot of people don't know that about me, that I got my master's in international politics and conflict resolution, and I'm Middle Eastern, and that conflict for me represented a huge awakening of like how the world actually works outside of my little bubble. And I think you touch on such an important thing, which is, it's something called the imperial boomerang, which is like something I believe in a lot, which is the things that we are willing to accept, the things that we're willing to tolerate as a society, which is you're watching TV and you're literally watching children disappear. You're watching whole bloodlines disappear. It is being live streamed to us on a daily basis. And there is this cognitive dissonance between a country that has a school shooting going on, and there's a lot of mourning, and obviously we see school shootings a lot these days, and there's a lot of mourning, and there's a lot of finger wagging and finger pointing at our politicians and the people like what the gun company. Okay, it's the guns, it's the politicians, but I want to know, how do you plan on explaining to the common voter who might have, even in the 24 election, it was obviously the Democratic machine did not want to touch the issue, even to their own detriment. I think we can now agree to that. And it is a popular issue. It is a worldwide issue. It is, now, it's bipartisan. How do we explain to people why our humanity and like what we care about here matters when we're allowing atrocities and we're even funding them? Why do you expect that Ted Cruz in Texas cares about your children? These are children, these are babies that they're making excuses for a lot of the time, that are like, Hamas and whatever, which is now interesting to me. Again, I'm a bit of a tangent here. Is interesting to me now, which is your position is becoming the popular position. Now it's like, okay, do you condemn Hamas? Now it's, do you call this a genocide? You have to say yes. I mean, I don't know, the experts are all saying yes. So again, I without going into too much of a rant, what's your plan here in terms of like connecting this issue to everyday kitchen table issues, New Hampshire voter issues? Why should New Hampshire voters put this around the same plank as, like, say, property taxes, for example?
Yeah. So there's the moral factor, the humanitarian factor, the psychological, the fiscal. There's so much going on, right? So, okay. So first of all, our media are not covering it. The big media are not covering it to the extent that independent media are covering it. Kudos to the independent media, like The Guardian, The Intercept. Those are really great sources of independent news. And they call it like it is. They're not skirting the problem. So a lot of folks don't have a lot of information. But people do know. It's been 2 years. It's not a secret anymore. People understand. And people know that kids are getting really hurt. Humans are getting hurt. Those pictures of starving humans with skeletal bodies. I mean, the cruelty of starvation, your body starts to basically disintegrate, right? Because the organs are trying to stay alive. The brain is trying to keep functioning. The heart is trying to keep beating. So basically the muscles are when we say wasting away, it's because we are degrading the muscles to keep the calorie intake going, to keep the organs alive. So your body's, in a sense, eating itself. The brain is getting damaged. There's only so much more because the brain needs a lot of carbs to function. Your organs are starting to fail. And eventually a starving child will stop crying even because they don't have enough energy.
It's like hard.
The fact that I don't have, listen, and it's so hard, especially for people that have kids. You guys have kids. Yeah, there's like I can't even experience that kind of like, and there is a level of kind of being gaslit.
Yes.
Right. And then there's this, whatever this has been over the past 2 years. And I just think like there was a time where we were being shamed or people felt bad about acting out on these atrocities as if I am the one that's losing my mind for seeing this and yelling about it, screaming at fellow voters about it. Right. And I think that is the area where I think about a lot, which is, again, this is, if you want logic as to why Maggie Hassan and Chris Pappas aren't going to show face, it's because they have to explain themselves right now to a bunch of we are rabid about this because how much longer can this go on for, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as a human being, again, like I said, it is absolutely normal. If you are losing sleep after seeing those pictures, you are a normal person. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. When you are feeling sick to your stomach, you're being normal. You should feel empathy and sympathy for others. So I think I'm actually surprised when I'm going out there how many people do understand and how many people are so frustrated. I think in 2024, people were being told by the Democratic machine, don't think about Gaza. We're about to lose our democracy. Donald Trump is coming. Don't talk about Gaza. We have to stop Donald Trump. Well, we got people killed in Gaza and we lost our country. Good job. Really good job. I mean, how about not, you can, Biden even says, what isn't one of his sayings, like, chew gum and walk or something? Like, you can do two things at the same time. Stop killing people and save your country. And like you said, Arya, it was most probably played a good factor in the loss, didn't it? I know that the DNC never wants to talk about it. They'll talk about messaging. They'll talk about Kamala Harris's race, Kamala Harris's gender. They didn't have a good field game. I'm sorry. Labor for Ceasefire. I don't know if you guys know about this letter. Labor for Ceasefire put together a letter. It was an open letter. It still exists. I think it's laborforceasefire.org, something like that. They wrote this letter early on in 2024 asking the Biden administration to have a ceasefire. and other labor unions signed on to it. By November 2024, ahead of the election, the number of unions that were signed on to this letter represented 20 million workers. 20 million workers in the United States was asking the Biden administration to stop bombing or weapons transfers and to bring peace. Do you think some of them did not come out to vote? Most probably. Do you think some of the students who were being told that they were called horrific words because their hearts were breaking? I mean, we send our kids to learn about morality, to grow up and understand empathy and sympathy and kindness and compassion. And when they do show kindness and compassion, we label them, we have them doxxed. I mean, there was doxing going on in the college campuses. So anyways, did the college students stay away? Most likely. A lot of people stayed away across the board. But as so that was the machine, the DNC machine and the Democratic machine, both at the state level as well as the federal, national level across the country. But as I'm going around, if I'm talking just person to person, Arya, I'm not seeing necessarily too much pushback. I think, the polls say 9 out of 10 Americans are now horrified. I think, or is it 9 out of 10 Democrats? It was some poll came out. Right, wasn't it?
Some crazy numbers. This is why I wanted to talk to you about this, because some crazy numbers, some crazy polling electoral numbers came out, which to me it speaks right to what you're saying and what we've been saying about the priorities of some of these candidates, which is it's not to face us, it's not to answer for the money that they're taking or the votes that they're making, and some of these votes and these takes are egregious. And again, Quinnipiac just did a poll on how people feel about Israel, and it is some of you're talking about 75% of Democrats, 65% of independents, 50% of Republicans want us to stop funding Israel right now, right this second. That poll just came out. 77% of Democrats think Israel is committing a genocide. 31% of people side with Israelis over Palestinians. That is the lowest number since 2001. And it sucks for Jewish Americans, Jewish people living all around the world, because there is something odd happening, which is Israel has become arguably the biggest source of anti-Semitism, which is it's very difficult for people to think of. But when you're conflating your actions with the religion, people are going to start believing you. And they're going to start seeing the footage coming out, and they're going to say, okay, well, this is for Judaism. That's what Israel said. They're the country for Jews. Because again, most, I say normies who think the war started on October 7th, right? This whole thing seems a little bit weird to them, a little bit out of place. And I just think that we are seeing in real time the tide turning. And are you going to be ahead of the tide? Or again, the example I want to use, I'm sure you heard about this, is the UK and Australia, Canada, and France they've all recognized Palestine now, which is a huge coup. These are the 4 yes men of the United States. We want to go to Iraq. Yes. We want to go to, they have nukes. Yes. They're saying no now. And that might be we might be seeing kind of the world powers adjusting a little bit. But I guess my question, the main question I'm trying to get from this is, when is too late to turn on this issue? At what point, and how do we deal with the aftermath? When right now, one of the allies of this administration is a war criminal. He comes here, visits regularly. We don't arrest him. We're part, we talk about invading the ICC sometimes, Republicans do, right? So what does that, how quickly are we going to see that tsunami switch? And who do we hold? We're going to remember, right? We're not going to pretend that everyone was against it, because at some point everyone will get there. Right. Well, everyone will get. And so what is the aftermath of that? Because I wasn't around for the Nuremberg trials. I'm not sure what this looks like, right? Has that something that's entered your mind? So
to touch on one thing, a lot of folks here in New Hampshire who are Jewish religion, they're just horrified. And many of them are part of our coalition. And sometimes you see my Jewish friends are more emotional and become even more distraught than I mean, I am doing it, but I feel like there's a separation, right? I'm seeing another person getting hurt, but they feel like because of their connections to Israel or because of their religion, it is so painful to watch. It is so difficult. I mean, their hearts are breaking. Absolutely hearts are breaking. And they're trying so hard just to stop this crisis, to this catastrophe. And any person, I want to say this to everyone. We should not conflate Netanyahu's actions. Netanyahu wants us to do it, but we should not give that war criminal any more support. He wants us to think that what he's doing is in the name of, he's a Jewish person, and therefore if you criticize him, it's anti-Semitic. No, he is doing it for his own benefit. He is a leader of a country, an elected prime minister of the state of Israel. He's making some really bad decisions that are not humanitarian to stay in power and to increase the map of Israel to include Gaza and the West Bank. It should not in any way, shape, or form impact any other person who just happens to be either Israeli or Jewish. We should not allow Netanyahu and his propaganda and his, like you said, conflation to impact us. So this has to be I need everyone to promise we will not allow Netanyahu to control us, right? Or to give us any kind of evil thoughts or bad thoughts. We will ask for peace. We want peace for Israelis. We want peace for Palestinians. We want peace for anyone, regardless of religion, in the Middle East, across the world. The anti-Semitism is real and has happened for centuries, and it's cruel and it's hurt. We have seen how bad it can be. And so we, as peace activists, we can protect one group without in any way, shape, or form hurting another group. And Netanyahu wants us to, because that's how he's going to cover himself. We should always say, Netanyahu, it doesn't matter what his nationality or his religion is, as an elected official, he's committing war crimes, and we should hold him, like we can isolate him without bringing anyone else along with him. Unless, of course, it's Yoav Gallant and Bezalel Smotrich. My husband says hello, to tell him that I'm going to...
Yeah, let's find Mr. Manzur. Hey, Mr.
No, he has a different last name. Hey, I didn't know. He was very modern, man.
That's
he
my
did not
fault.
take my last name. Very modern.
I did not mean... I did not mean to assume there. So, no, I just wanted to... there was one little piece of what you said with Netanyahu, too, which a lot of people do not understand, is that he has shook hands with some devils to keep that government together, and they're holding his feet to the fire, right? You named one of them, Bezalel Smotrich, and the other guy, Ben Gvir, right? Who are the two-headed kind of like ideologues of the government, like kind of like, they're reading some type of scripture. That's how they're leading government. And Netanyahu, through pure just political survival and even just survival from not going to jail, that's what the other absolutely, like, the reason for this is one person saving his ass.
Yeah,
this many deaths.
Yeah, and
is
Arya,
one person
those
saving
two
his ass.
folks, because in Israel, people have all the, I don't know if it's also for women, but men have to serve in the military. It's like a requirement. Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir were exempted because they had they were so bad. They had actually tried bombing people in the West Bank. So they're settlers. They grew up in settlements in the West Bank, and they've terrorized Palestinians in the West Bank. So even the Israeli military didn't allow those two people to serve in the Israeli military. They're like, nope, stay out.
Yeah,
Those
domestic terrorists. Yeah.
Yeah, they're domestic terrorists. And now they're finance minister and the minister of national security. There's another day. Yeah, yeah. And they are, okay, that's going off a little bit on a tangent. There was an American from the 70s who committed some terrorism in America, Kahanist.
The Kahanists. Yep, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
His followers are called Kahanis, but what is his last name? Kahan? Maybe Kahan.
Yeah. It's based off of his last name. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was then thrown out of the United States. FBI gave him an option, either a lifetime in jail or leave the country. So he left, he went to Israel, continued his bad stuff, an American. Those two people, Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir, are Kahanists. They follow in his footsteps. The Kahanists were on the terror watch list in the United States. This is going back to 2023. When Netanyahu was getting ready to form his coalition government, and he did not have 50% of the vote, so he needed to partner with other parties, because we only have two parties. Israel has, I think, 7 or 8 parties, and they have to form a coalition in order to form the ruling government. And Likud party is where Netanyahu is from, and they didn't have enough votes in the 2000. They didn't win enough seats in the parliament in 2023 to form the majority government. So they needed to partner with 1 or 2 other groups, and he reached out to basically Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir. So that's why we call them the ultra right wing, because they were even more right wing than the Likud party.
Absolutely.
But Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir in turn wanted 2 positions, high ones. I'm going to form a partnership with you, but I want finance. And the other one said, I want national security. Those are cabinet level positions in the Israeli government. If they remained on the terror watch list because they were Kahanists, then the United States federal representatives of the federal government, like Secretary of State and others, could not interact with them because they are on the terror watch list. So what did the Biden government do in 2023? They took Kahanism off the terror watch list.
Which was such a move to people who had, again, people who have been studying this, and it just signaled that we were going badly into the wrong direction with that. While we're making up stories about, photos that we're seeing, and, we created like this manufactured consent to go in, which don't even get me started on seeing photos of babies, which is still in the minds of a lot of people who don't, there was never like an official retraction, but to me, it's just, that was a sign, one of the signs that this is not going in the right direction at all.
Yeah, I mean, United States, Biden administration should not have taken that group off the terror watch list. If they had not, then those 2 very, very bad people could have been kept away from the Israeli government. Israelis are also suffering. I mean, you have to understand, if criticizing Netanyahu is anti-Semitic, then more than half of Israel is anti-Semitic because they're also against him. They are not happy with him. It's like if we are so unhappy with Donald Trump, they're also suffering under Netanyahu. By the way, I don't have my glasses on. I see some questions. I don't know if I'm supposed to answer this.
No. Well, Karishma, we're about to kind of redirect.
Wrap up.
I'll take care of it. I want to wrap. We want to talk about the shutdown just for a few minutes before we wrap up, but I wanted to make sure you wrap up any points.
I want to say 2 things, unless I already said it, but I don't think I said it. So I really kudos to the organizers. They covered U.S. policy in the Middle East, humanitarian aid and relief. They talked about the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, the so-called Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is basically a death trap. They had questions about Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Aguilar. Do you guys know that person? He's the one who is releasing information about how this Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is just basically killing kids and people.
Let me Google that after. Arya, maybe you'll make us a video on
Anthony Aguilar, Aguilar. Look him up. Then we also talked about the United Nations Security Council. a lot is going on over there. We talked about the ICC, and we touched on it. I mean, this was like a 2-hour town hall. I'll give you
Is
guys.
there a video of it?
Yeah, it is. It's not, it's kind of like a ceiling camera, so I'm not sure how well, and I'm very soft-spoken, so I don't think you guys can hear me. And the Gaza International Transitional Authority, this is that Blair thing, that Tony Blair's little project, a war
Right.
criminal. Two
Yep.
war criminals together are bringing peace in Gaza. Yeah, that's good luck with that one.
This is dystopian.
And without any Palestinian, no Palestinians are part of that discussion, right? So anyway, so that was, I think I covered it, but basically they did a really good job. I'm not going to do any justice to them by trying to recreate it. But I do want to talk about two people in New Hampshire, two elected officials. One has voted to not fund UNRWA, to fund basically to stop the funding of the United Nations Relief Agency to feed the Palestinians, and that was Chris Pappas. He voted against it twice. And on the other side is Representative Ellen Reed of Newmarket. She's right now on the Sumud flotilla going to Gaza, putting her life in danger to take humanitarian aid to Gaza. Two elected officials from New Hampshire with very different perspective. One supporting starvation, one trying to stop the starvation. Profile and shame, profile and courage.
That's a fantastic point. And you know what? Speaking about videos, Marissa, I think I just found my next video. That's because that has to be pointed out. Like, what the hell is going on? There's and people that won't face their own constituent taking more than $500,000 from AIPAC. It's absurd. And yeah, you're right. She deserves. I knew she was on there. She deserves a lot more.
And I don't know, if
especially here in New Hampshire.
You know, Arya, a lot of them have already been seized. A lot of them.
Yes, they went and we thought. And here's the thing: we thought that the Italians might have been coming around on the issue because the Italians have not recognized Palestine yet. They're one of the holdouts still, and there were reports that Spain and Italy had sent warships with the flotilla and the reports were, oh, they're coming to protect it. And I thought to myself, that's a really weird thing for Italy to do, though they have been protesting. Like Italy's been kind of shut down with protests. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Like the dock work. Yeah, exactly. They've been really great. And then it came out that no, they were actually there to provide one last opportunity for their Italians on the ship to get off and not go into Israeli water, not to. So these things are slowly trickling out, and yeah, it did shine a light a little bit more on exactly, there's more work to be done. Like there was some hope now with some military backing, but it was just a facade.
Oh, I see. So prayers. Let's all remember to pray tonight for all the folks who are there in Gaza. In various conflicts. That is not the only conflict. I know it takes up a lot of our effort. There's so many in Sudan. People are suffering. In Afghanistan, people are suffering. Let's remember, everyone. Let's try to look up. Actually, you can find a conflict map. It shows you all the different conflicts that are going on across the world. We should actually, as peace activists, we want peace across for everyone. And then also do keep Ellen Reed in mind. And also her flotilla all her compatriots. Hopefully they're all safe.
Yeah, I look forward to getting more updates on this from you, Karishma, and Arya, both of you guys. Thank you both for keeping us so up, sharing both of your perspectives on this. Before we lose you,
yes.
Before we lose you, a lot of folks in the comments, and I know we're interested to know as well. Obviously, we're in a brand new government shutdown. I would love to just hear a little bit more about your perspective of, is this the right move? Where are you at with the healthcare provisions? I know that's a big concern for a lot of folks in New Hampshire. So if you could talk a little bit just about what you're thinking as you're watching this all play out.
Yeah, fantastic question. I would urge folks, if you're at least on TikTok, to follow my account. It's Karishma for Senate, I think that's what it is.
Right here.
So do follow it because I try to put in information like all these current affairs. There was no choice. The GOP and Trump are not playing they're not acting as Democrats. They're acting, in a democratic fashion. They're acting as fascists. They're basically full-blown authoritarianism and even level of fascism. Trump is not interested in creating a situation where he's governing. He's just blowing everything up. That is not a person we need to appease. I think they did a fantastic job, the Democrats, to hold their line of fire and say, no, we are not going to impact cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, ACA. People are already, the healthcare crisis is in such bad proportions. And to make it worse, why? For more wealth transfer to his billionaire friends who are soon going to become trillionaires. So I agree. I am absolutely in agreement with what the Democrats did, but we should make it very clear, because Donald Trump will blame the Democrats, and we have to be very, 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 very clear. The Republicans have the Senate, they have the House, they have the presidency, they have the White House. We cannot let them blame the Democrats. It's on him. The sitting president is absolutely responsible for any government shutdown. And don't forget that in the history of the United States, the longest that the government has ever been shut down was in Trump 1, 35 days. The government was shut down for 35 days because he has no interest in governing. He could care less. This is a very selfish, self-centered man who's, anyways. The other thing is, we also have to understand how much it costs us as an economy, as at the government level, as an economy. This is really bad. We're going to lose billions of dollars. Vital services are going to be cut, and we're going to lose, even whenever it opens up. A day that it's closed is a day that we lose more billions of dollars. We have to take this seriously, but we also have to take it seriously that we cannot play around with what Donald Trump is doing anymore. No more excuses. No more excuses. We have to take it very seriously. And so absolutely, I'm completely in agreement with what the Democrats did. And it's absolutely not their fault. This is all on Donald Trump and the GOP.
I mean, that's a great answer. It looks like you got some approval in the chat too for that answer. Hey, listen, we have gone over an hour. No, I'm so thankful that I'm sorry we held you. I know you're busy. I love talking to you, especially about Gaza, and you're so, well spoken on it, and you're definitely someone we can be proud of, I think, in terms of representing the issue, educating on the issue. You have the gravitas. It's not a new thing for you. It's not just a political issue for you. It's obvious with the time that you've spent, and I really respect that about you, and I really love it. And unless Marissa has anything, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say, any call to action, anything you want to say to the crowd here. We'll obviously clip
visit
this
my website, www.karishmaforsenate.com. Follow my socials. I'm not taking any blood money. I'm not taking any corporate special interest money. My donors are $20, $25, $30 donors, but we can keep it honest and we can still win. And so let's do it. They can have money. Let them have all the money. We need the people. People versus money. People will win.
Karishma, do you have any events coming up that you want people to show up at? Somebody's asking about events specifically. They can obviously sign up on your website to get any updates, but anything you want to plug now?
I don't think so. Most of the events I'm going to are organized by others where I might be a speaker. I haven't done a rally yet. Maybe I should. Should I do one?
You should.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do one.
Sounds great.
Concord? That's not, again, my rally. The 5051 are getting together on October 18th, but I want to be there. We're going to have a presence there. We're going to have a table. Folks, come on over. I want to say hi to all of you.
Yay. Yes, I'll be there. Just put it on my calendar today, so I'll be there. I'm sure Arya will be there as well.
Yeah, see you on October 18th.
Sounds great. And thank you everyone for coming, guys. If we're gonna post like the link, we'll send it to you as well. We'll send it to your team, Karishma, the link for the interview if you guys want to look at it.
It's 5051 has a rally on October 18th. It's part of the No Kings rally.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
October 18th. October number 2, No Kings number 2, right?
I think
That's
maybe-
what it's being. Perfect. Okay, cool. So, yeah, if that's it, thanks guys for coming and hanging out with us. This has been awesome. Karishma, thank you so much for coming. As always, you're so kind, and I love like the fact that you spend so much time with us and just talk about issues. And we're really pulling for you right now. We really hope you do well for the rest of this race. So, good luck.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
All right.
Karishma. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.